We're seeing more bank closures around the country as more and more Americans are literally starting to lose access to their money. Not just because of branches shutting down, but because some banks are just closing down accounts.
Flagging suspicious activity to crack down on fraud. Major banks are suddenly closing down more customer accounts. Those customers left surprised, now unable to pay for things, even including rent, according to New York Times reporting. ABC 15's Ashley Paredes is speaking with a financial expert about this recent uptick in shutdowns.
It could be anybody at any bank at any time.
Banks are among the most highly regulated institutions in the country and play a critical role in the fight against financial crime, money laundering, and terrorist financing. According to the New York Times, bank account crackdowns are happening now more than ever. ASU professor Jeffrey Smith telling us banks have various ways of monitoring client accounts and can flag or close them at their discretion.
It's a trade-off between, catching criminals, and sometimes innocent people are going to get swept up just due to the computer algorithms.
Now, I get it. We can't just up and take all of our cash out of the bank. That would be just downright insane. But the fear that people now have because of these account closures is warranted. I mean, can you imagine just waking up one day and having lost access to your own money? Maybe you can't even log into your Bank of America, Wells Fargo, or JP Morgan Chase bank account. And while this is happening, we're also seeing less and less brick and mortar bank branches in our neighborhoods, which means that we'll all have to call them up or contact them through social media to get our concerns through. Maybe even have to deal with some automated bot. Do you guys know PNC Bank, the 6th largest bank in the country? Well, they've now closed 203 branches this year alone.
PNC Bank acknowledges that they are working on this issue, but the customers I spoke with who each pumped gas at a Westmoreland County gas station this weekend, one of them right here at the Sunoco in Export, say they are out a lot of money and have been waiting days to be reimbursed.
I feel like they stole our money.
Michelle Tank says when she stopped at the Flying J in Smithton on Saturday, she filled up her tank and moved on until Sunday when she got an alert from PNC Bank.
I had multiple charges on my account, and when I looked, there were 2 identical holds for $126 along with my gas charge.
Hold charges that are typically only charged once and are immediately removed, but Tank says she was hit double and is still waiting to get her money back.
It's unfair.
Julie Romali is out cash too. She says she was hit with the same added charges on Saturday when she pumped gas at the Sunoco in Export, but her charges came in parts.
It was $165 divided up into 3 different charges.
Romali and Tank called their bank, PNC, where they say a representative told them it was a glitch. In a statement, a spokesperson for PNC Bank tells me PNC is aware of an issue impacting a limited number of customers in which certain transactions are pending more than once. Our teams are engaged and working to resolve the issue, and these pending transactions will be corrected on customers' accounts as soon as possible.
Now, I might get mixed responses from you guys here, but what do you prefer when you go banking? Now, if you prefer the physical brick and mortar branches, comment 1. And if you like handling your money and your transactions through online banking instead, then comment 2. Now, while you guys decide on that, make sure to smash the like button for the video to help out the channel, and consider subscribing to the channel as I deliver important information to you guys that's relevant to all of us, as a matter of fact, 24/7. Appreciate that. Now, these bank closures, they're not just with PNC Bank, okay? They've got JP Morgan filing 18 closures, Citizens Bank with 8, Bank of America with 5, and Citibank rounding off things with 2 bank branch closures. Now, the craziest part is that these moves were made within the same week. It's like they were in a group chat or something like, hey, let's just all shut our banks down this week. Now, a big problem that the banks are trying to get ahead of is the billions upon billions of dollars of possible unrealized losses that they're probably going to have to face sooner or later. And just like any other company, the branch shutdowns are part of their plans to cut costs. That and the laying off of workers that come with it. Something that you have to realize is here, and that this is all a part of a cycle. I mean, back in 2008, 25 banks failed. And within the next 3 years, around 400 other banks also failed. Which brings me to a very, very important point, and that is the practice of keeping cash with you. Now, again, this is also something that I'm not forcing you to do or even advising you to do. But just imagine a scenario where you can't open your bank account. accounts, or a situation where you can't get to an ATM or a physical bank branch. Just how screwed would you be without access to your money? That and, well, just don't go over the FDIC limit of the money that you can keep in the bank while being insured. But what do you guys think? Should we be worried about our money, or are our accounts safe and there's nothing to worry about? Now, speaking of accounts, I want to switch things up here and I want to talk about Google and their plan to close up accounts for good.
Well, if you have a Google account that you haven't checked in years, it could soon be gone. Google is moving ahead with its plan to delete accounts that have been inactive for at least 2 years. The new policy, announced back in May, was created with the hope of addressing security risks. Google says the older accounts are more likely to rely on recycled passwords and don't have the up-to-date security measures like two-step verification.
Anyone out there with a Google account that they haven't opened in a while? Now, if you want to keep it, just go ahead and log in at least once every 2 years and you'll be good. Now, moving on here, let's talk about the housing market and just how tough it is for would-be home buyers to get their foot through the door as even higher mortgage rates continue to push out more and more of them. In fact, sales of new U.S. single-family homes fell more than what was expected in October, even with home builders cutting their prices. Now, right now, on average, we're looking at what, 8% interest rates for a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage, right? Home inventory is still at a low, and I guess it's partly due to the huge numbers of homeowners who are not prepared to sell their houses, given that they're on these super low mortgage rates at around 3% or even less. And just for context, the expectation for October home sales were at 723,000 units, but the reality was that it hit 679,000. Now again, all lower than expectations. To be honest with you guys, 2023 has been a year that's been full of disappointments. You know what I'm saying? Like, they told us that things would get better, that the Fed would pivot, that inflation would go down dramatically, that the economy will be strong, that job numbers will defy all odds. And, well, it really feels as if none of those things are actually happening right now. But what do you guys make of the housing market at this point? Is it time to get in, or should we instead wait for the crash, or should we sell everything? Now, since we're talking about homes here, let's head down to the Big Apple in New York, where homeowners may get up to $395,000 just for building a home. Now, you're probably asking, Ron, what's the catch, right? And of course, there's always a catch. Now, the catch is that you have to take part in this +1 ADU pilot program. Basically, it's a program that will push homeowners to construct ADUs, or accessory dwelling units, on their properties. Now, you and I both know that New York is not the smallest place on earth, but given the number of people that are now residing there, you would think that they would give out money to more people than just 15 single-family landlords. That's right, guys. They're only going to fund 15 homeowners with $395,000 apiece, and they can use this money to build a backyard cottage, a basement apartment, a garage studio. I mean, pretty much anything that's going to help more people move into their space. So what do you guys make of this idea? Does it seem like something that you might be interested in? Or does it sound more like a bribe for the people of New York? Now, if you ask me, having a program that's supposed to help expand housing and providing $395,000 per home to just 15 landlords, I don't know, guys. It seems like it's just not enough to prove that this plan can actually work. How do you even get a sample of that? There has to be research done in order to show that giving away $395,000 or anywhere near this amount of money actually works, right? Because otherwise, then it's just like giving away money without much in return. But what do you guys think? Anybody here who wants to move into New York because of this? Or are more of you just leaving in droves? Make sure you guys let me know what you're thinking down in the comment section down below. Make sure to get your free home warranty quote. There's a link in the description down below this video, and I'll see you guys on the next one.